Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with veteran jazz guitarist Dave Stryker on the 2021 CD Baker Circle. This new record was recorded on January 11, 2019, and is a follow-up to last year's successful big band outing called Blue Soul. This project is a hard-driving, deep-grooving B3 organ group with a power lineup of cats. We cover this, COVID, and hope for the future, along with a little bit more. Enjoy.
When did we talk last? I forget.
Talked during the summer, I believe, when kind of in the lurch of the pandemic. So, but yeah, man, you're just staying busy. You keep the fluidity with you is just going and going and going.
Well, you know, I that's all I can do because right now there's no gigs. So I had these recordings available, so I decided to put them out.
You know, that's the thing that's interesting about just kind of how things have migrated from 2020 to 2021. It was like, in the beginning, it was like, oh man, you can't tour, you're putting out material. And now it's like, this has gone on so long, it seems like a CD is almost like a mini tour. You're giving people something you wouldn't be able to otherwise.
Exactly. And the thing is that I have, other projects I want to keep doing, and I'm actually working on something really interesting right now. Let me go ahead and put this out, man. Just like on the last one, it's like, might as well keep putting the music out,
But the interesting thing about putting it out now, if you were sitting on it, I mean, anything that happened pre-pandemic that you had kind of in the can or ready to go, the significance was already there. You already created it. But how has that changed in your mind since it's been released? Because originally when you were going to put it out, you had an idea of what you wanted to give the world, your artistic vision. But now that you're putting it out during this very specific time in our history, has that aim changed for what you want to do for the audience?
No, I think it's just that I was really happy with this music. It's my working trio. After the big band record that came out last year, I said, I thought it'd be cool to go back to the smaller group, my trio, and I had this project with Walter Smith, who I just think is one of the best guys out there. The kind of newer guys on tenor. Not that new, but
yeah.
But it's it's pretty much just I wanted to I had this one had some new songs that I'd written, and I'd like to get them on, and I just didn't want to I didn't want to let it not come out just because of we can't tour and stuff.
I mean, you got to keep living anyways. I mean, I remember talking to an author a little while back, and it's like, you know what? I don't want to look back on this time in my life and say I put everything on hold when you can live. You got one shot at it, and if you got music and people want to listen to it, it's as good a time as any, I would think.
Yeah, and we just don't know what it's going to look like in the near future. So, to me, the studio is still an option of where I can, be creative and put some positive energy out there. I'm working right now on something, Joe, that I've never done before. It's going to be quartet, piano, bass, drums, guitar with string quartet.
Is this time away from, touring and being busy and all of this? I mean, you're talking about something new. Are you getting new ideas? Is there a silver lining to this that you're able to explore and venture out into things that maybe you always wanted to but never did?
In some ways, yeah. I mean, I'm still teaching at the university level at a few different places, and when I had the time off from them over the Christmas holidays, I kind of got a spurt of creativity in there and wrote a bunch of new music. And I did one thing with the organ trio. It was supposed to be just I was supposed to go down to Miami and do a concert down there, and this was, in the middle of all this, and they said, well, rather than flying down there, they let me just record my group and send them because it was going to be online anyway. I said, great. So I said, if I'm going to go in the studio, I said, shoot, I better write some new music and and record it, than rather than just going in the studio and doing stuff we've already done. So that project I did, and so now that one's sitting in the can. I got into this idea of I've always wanted, to do something with strings, and so I wrote a whole bunch of new music. I bought an album's worth of music, and I'm collaborating with a great piano player named Julian Shore, who's helping me to arrange the string quartet. Yeah, the gigs are not, there, but I'm still trying to stay creative,
The one thing, too, that I think is interesting with somewhat of your stature in the world of jazz and the years and the clout that you have in the world of jazz, do you ever look at this time and think, man, you've worked so hard your whole life, and we've unfortunately come to this year of resting. Do you ever look back and think, man, I'm thankful that I've worked as hard as I have so I can be at a point right now where I can kind of be in this place to be ready when everything opens back up?
You're probably the same way. I think back on everything that I've done, and not just music, but every trip I've taken and every, it's just like everything's a little sweeter now. It's like we didn't appreciate a lot of stuff that we took for granted, before this pandemic. So, that's a good way to look at it, Joe, because it's easy to get, depressed, and just, wow, what's going to happen? And you just got to try to stay on top and stay positive and hope for better days ahead, which looks like they are coming.
Well, I guess that's the thing. I've been thinking more and more lately. The only thing I can be in control of is being hopeful. That's a choice that I can make of all the things that I have no control over. But, let me ask you this, and I believe, too, that things are getting hopeful. I talked to a couple of cats from France yesterday, and they're still in a lockdown. Europe's in a different place than we are. But when I think about America and Kansas City, like all these players reported to spring training. We're slated to have people in the stands on April 1st. All of the cases in Kansas City have gone down exponentially over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Vaccines are going all over the place. I mean, I had someone call me from a hospital for my son to see if he could get a vaccine. So I'm thinking about all these stories and everything that's happening, and it seems like we're on the cusp of things really starting to happen. So my question to you is, when you look at your life and your reality and mince that with some hope, what are you seeing as far as kind of getting back to it?
I don't know if it's like this for you, but I had to go into my taxes and send out my 1099s to my musicians for last year. At first you're thinking like, damn, there wasn't anything last year, but then I realized, no, there was January and February, which I had a great January and February. I did a tour, and I also played at 4 nights at the Jazz Standard. Rest in peace. I started thinking about it. It's like, man, that feels like it was 5 years ago. It's just like, this year has been unbelievable.
Wow.
That was last February. I played at 4 nights at the Jazz Standard with my group, and man, just so much has happened since then, hasn't it? But I just, I'm trying to, keep it happening. Just, we've done a couple, we played in the trio's played a few things, outdoors last summer, in tents at, restaurants that are trying to keep it happening. And we've done a few things here in my house in the basement. We did over the internet live streams and just keep playing music. And right now, since the gigs aren't there, I'm concentrating more on writing and arranging. And of course, the teaching thing keeps me busy as well.
We may have talked about this a little bit last time, but I think now it's probably a little bit more acute. But when you do return to the stage and we do return to the audience, what do you hope we all get from this year plus away from live music? What silver linings, what things should we hopefully really hold on to?
Man, that's a great question, but don't you think we'll maybe be a little more appreciative of going out to hear music and just it'll be that much sweeter and like, man, I didn't realize, what we had until it was gone. And now, so I think we'll really appreciate the audience, and the audience will appreciate the musicians. I think it'll be good for the music, when we get back to playing again. And I think there'll just be more of an appreciation for it now that we realize, what we lost there.
And I think the other thing I've thought about too is that, do you think there's going to be a particular level of innovation, sound, new things, a richer ways that we're going to hear things when we get back, when people start really releasing all of their new stuff?
I think so. I think that, like you said, after the initial shock of not being, having all our work canceled and tours and festivals and stuff, I think people said, shit, I better just get busy and try to write something or, keep doing what I'm doing. And so, yeah, I think a lot of people will have, like they had more time. Usually we'd be on the road all the time or whatever, rushing from here to there. But with all this time, pretty much, staying at home, I bet a lot of people are going to be putting out some beautiful music.
Dave, thank you for taking a minute out. Thank you for opening up about, this crazy world and the new album. Good luck with it. Good luck with the return to the stage.
Thanks so much, Joe, and I appreciate you, reaching out, and it's great, always great to talk to you. Look forward to seeing you down the road.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in New York, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. Thanks to Dave for his time, music, and story. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on the iTunes Store. Visit Neon Jazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.